There is a version of you that commands rooms without raising your voice, that makes decisions without flinching, that sees through people the way a surgeon sees through skin, not with cruelty, but with precision. That version of you exists, but it is buried beneath every lesson you were never taught, every illusion you were encouraged to keep, and every comfortable lie that was handed to you in place of real knowledge. Leadership is not what they told you it was. It is not inspiration. It is not charisma. It is not the ability to make people feel good about following you. Those are performances, and performances, no matter how polished, are always eventually seen through. Real leadership, the kind that reshapes organizations, that survives crisis, that commands loyalty without demanding it, is something far colder, far more demanding, and far more psychologically complex than any speech or seminar will ever reveal to you. Most people who rise to positions of power arrive there with the wrong map. They carry assumptions built during years of being followers, years of watching leaders from a distance, years of believing that authority was about personality rather than structure. And then the moment they step into that role, reality begins its correction. Quietly at first, then with force. These 5 rules are what that correction teaches, not in theory, in loss, in failure, in the slow, expensive education that comes from discovering, too late, how power actually works. You are about to receive that education now, before the damage is done. Pay attention. What follows will not comfort you, but it will arm you. Rule 1. Power is taken. Power is never given. It is always taken and then constantly defended. The moment you believe that your title, your position, your designation protects you, you have already begun to lose. Because power is not a possession. It is a dynamic. It shifts, it flows, it moves toward whoever is actively holding it, and away from whoever assumes it will simply stay. Marcus Aurelius understood this not as a political observation, but as a psychological one. The emperor who stops exercising dominion does not remain emperor. He simply becomes a man in an emperor's chair. When most people are promoted into leadership, they interpret the appointment as a rival, as if the organization has said, "You are now in charge, and that charge is yours." But organizations do not give power. Organizations create vacuums, and whoever fills them most consistently, most intelligently, most completely, that is who leads. The title follows behavior. It was never the other way around. And here is the dangerous part. The people beneath you understand this before you do. They are watching, not with malice, but with the natural animal intelligence that every human being carries, to see whether your authority is real or borrowed, whether your decisions are yours, or whether you are simply relaying the preferences of someone above you, whether you actually control the resources, the conversations, the direction, or whether you merely appear to. The moment they sense the difference, the erosion begins, not in dramatic confrontation, in small withdrawals, in conversations you are no longer included in decisions that get made without waiting for your input. This is where most new leaders lose power without ever knowing they lost it. They confuse the performance of authority with authority itself. They spend energy on visibility when they should be spending it on positioning. They manage perception from the outside rather than structure from within. The rule is this: power must be exercised to exist, not performed. Exercised. Every day, through decisions, through boundaries, through the willingness to act when action is costly. A leader who avoids hard decisions in order to remain liked is not preserving their position. They are dissolving it. And the organization will find someone, formally or informally, who is willing to decide. That person becomes the real leader, regardless of what the organizational chart says. Rule 2. Loyalty is transactional. The moment you treat it as a virtue, you become vulnerable to those who treat it as a tool. This is the rule that costs the most, because most people who rise to leadership do so through relationships, through trust, through years of working alongside people who felt, at the time, like genuine allies. And when you ascend, you bring those feelings with you. You believe because the evidence of your past supports the belief that the people around you are loyal because they care, because they share your values, because there is something real between you. Machiavelli saw this clearly and wrote about it without apology. He did not say that loyalty is impossible. He said that loyalty, based on sentiment alone, is structurally unstable. That the leader who depends on affection, rather than interest, is building a house on sand. Because affection is contingent on circumstances, and circumstances change. When you are powerful, people want to be near power. When you are struggling, the same people perform a calculation, often unconscious but no less real, about what association with you is now worth. Some will remain. Most will begin to quietly reposition, not because they are villains, because they are human, because survival instinct is older and stronger than sentiment. The leader who understands this does not become cynical. Cynicism is just disillusionment that hasn't yet become useful. What they become is clear. They understand that loyalty is maintained through consistent mutual interest, through making it continuously advantageous for people to remain aligned with you, through ensuring that the cost of betrayal always exceeds the cost of fidelity. This is not manipulation. It is the honest architecture of durable alliances, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Every relationship in your organization has an underlying logic. The people who appear most devoted to you are often the ones who need you most, and the ones who need you least are the ones you should watch most carefully, not with paranoia, with clarity. Because clarity is the only thing that protects you when the circumstances shift and the sentiment evaporates and you discover, in a moment you were not prepared for, who was always counting the cost. Rule 3. Tolerance defines. What you tolerate defines you more precisely than what you demand. Every leader makes demands. Demands are visible. They are announced in meetings, written into policies, communicated in performance reviews. They are the official version of your standards, the stated expectations, the formal line between acceptable and unacceptable. And most leaders believe that their demands are what shape the culture around them. They are wrong. Culture is not shaped by what you say you expect. It is shaped by what you allow to persist when your expectations are violated, by what you overlook when the violation is committed by someone useful to you, by what you excuse when confrontation would be uncomfortable, by what you quietly permit because addressing it would cost you political capital you are not yet willing to spend. The people around you are not listening to your words. They are watching your responses. Every time you address a breach of standard, you reinforce the standard. Every time you do not, you reveal the true standard. And the true standard is always the one that governs, not the stated one, the demonstrated one. This is where most leaders hemorrhage authority, without understanding the mechanism. They believe that by not confronting something, they are preserving harmony. In reality, they are communicating permission. They are teaching the people beneath them exactly what can be gotten away with, exactly where the real limits are, exactly how much the stated expectations actually cost to violate. And once that education is complete, it is extraordinarily difficult to reverse. Carl Jung would recognize this pattern as a form of shadow evasion. The leader who cannot confront what is uncomfortable in their environment cannot confront what is uncomfortable in themselves. The things you refuse to see in your organization are often the things you refuse to see in yourself. The compromises you have normalized, the mediocrity you have accepted, the friction you have avoided so long that it has now become the landscape. And the landscape, left unaddressed, becomes the culture. And the culture becomes the ceiling of everything you are capable of building. The rule has no gentler version. You must become someone who addresses what is real, not just what is convenient, not with cruelty, with consistency, because consistent standards, held without exception, are the most powerful signal of genuine authority that you can send. Rule 4. Information is currency. Information is the real currency of leadership, and most leaders are spending it without knowing it. Every conversation you have as a leader is a transfer of information. Every question you answer openly, every frustration you express in the wrong room, every uncertainty you reveal before you have resolved it. These are withdrawals, and like any currency, information loses value the moment it becomes too widely available. The leader who is transparent about everything is not honest. They are simply unstrategic about what they reveal, when, and to whom. Sun Tzu understood that the highest form of strategy is winning before the conflict begins. And winning before the conflict begins requires that your opponents, inside or outside the organization, never have complete information about your position, your resources, your doubts, or your plans. The moment they do, they can move against you with precision. The moment they cannot, you retain the advantage of unpredictability. And unpredictability, in the hands of someone with genuine capability, is one of the most powerful leadership tools that exists. Most leaders are too open too early. They share their thinking before it is complete. They reveal their vulnerabilities in environments where vulnerability will be exploited rather than honored. They confide in people who have competing interests. They express doubt in moments when the people watching them need to see certainty, not because they are weak, but because no one taught them that strategic silence is not deception. It is discipline. The leader who controls information controls the narrative. The leader who controls the narrative controls perception. And the leader who controls perception controls, with far more reliability than force ever could, the behavior of everyone around them. This is not a dark insight. It is the observation that every consequential leader throughout history has operated from, whether or not they named it explicitly. And here is the part most people never realize. It is not enough to protect your own information. You must become fluent in reading what others reveal without intending to. In what someone emphasizes repeatedly, the anxiety beneath the confidence, the hesitation before the agreement, the enthusiasm that arrives too quickly to be genuine. People reveal their real positions constantly. The leader who has trained themselves to read those signals is never surprised by a betrayal. They saw the temperature change long before the break. Rule 5. Approval kills. The greatest threat to your leadership is never external. It is the version of yourself that still needs approval. Everything else in this script is external. Power, loyalty, standards, information. This rule is internal, and it is the one that undoes leaders who have mastered all the others. Because you can understand power dynamics with complete clarity, You can build unbreakable alliances. You can hold standards with perfect consistency. You can become a master of strategic information and still destroy everything in moments of unconscious need. The need to be seen as good. The need to be liked by the people you are responsible for leading. The need to be understood, to be validated, to be told by the very people whose performance you must judge that you are fair, that you are respected, that you are enough. This is Nietzsche's most uncomfortable insight brought into the leadership context. The will to power and the need for approval are in direct conflict, because real leadership requires making decisions that will not be popular, requires holding positions under social pressure, requires disappointing people without the comfort of their understanding, requires acting from your own judgment when the room is against you and the evidence is incomplete and the cost of being wrong is visible and the cost of being right is invisible until much later. The leader who needs approval cannot do these things, not because they lack intelligence or capability or even courage in the abstract sense, but because the moment the room turns cold, the moment the people they care about express disappointment, the moment the social feedback signals danger, the need activates, and the need makes them retreat, makes them soften the decision, makes them explain themselves when silence would have been stronger, makes them seek consensus in situations that require command. Schopenhauer would frame this as the will expressing itself through the weakest available channel, through the social animal's oldest drive, the drive to belong, the drive to be accepted, the drive to not be cast out. And in the ancestral environment, that drive was survival. But in the leadership environment, it is the thing that makes you permanently manageable. The person who knows you need their approval owns you. They may not know it consciously, but the dynamic is real, and it will be used, not necessarily with malice, but inevitably with effect. The work that this rule demands is not the elimination of the need. You cannot think your way out of a psychological drive. The work is the development of something stronger, a relationship with your own judgment that is more durable than the discomfort of disapproval. The slow, unglamorous, completely internal process of learning to tolerate being misunderstood, of making a decision you believe in and sitting inside the silence that follows, without flinching, without explaining, without seeking the reassurance that would feel like relief and function like surrender. This is what separates the leader who is respected from the leader who is merely liked. Respect is earned in the moments when you did not need it, when you acted from principle while under pressure, when you held the standard even when everyone in the room wanted you to lower it, when you were willing to be wrong, visibly, without hiding, and willing to be right, quietly, without needing it acknowledged. These 5 rules were not written to comfort you. They were written to complete you. Because the version of leadership that most people are taught, the warm, inclusive, approval-seeking, harmony-maintaining version, is a version designed for followers who have been given titles. It is not designed for the reality of actual power, actual consequence, actual human complexity. The leaders who understand what you have just read do not announce it. They do not build their identity around being strategic or uncompromising or psychologically aware. They simply operate from a different level of clarity. They see what others miss. They hold what others release. They decide when others hesitate. And over time, not through force, but through the quiet, relentless consistency of someone who has stopped needing the world to be other than it is, They become the person that situations, organizations, and people orient around. That is what is available to you now. Not comfort, not certainty, but clarity. The kind that does not protect you from difficulty, but ensures that when difficulty comes, you are the one still standing at the end of it. The world rewards strategy, not innocence. You have been warned. Now you have been armed.